Well, commentator Victoria Arbiter joins me now. Victoria, appreciate you giving us your time here on CTV News Channel. So listening to the Queen's message there, what stood out for you the most?
I think really this message was deeply personal, it was moving and it was poignant. And as we've come to expect, the Queen hit all of the right notes. She thanked the wartime generation for the efforts they made during World War II. She also likened their efforts to the battle we're experiencing today as we try to combat COVID-19. And she also shared her recollections, which, given the Queen doesn't generally share her own personal experiences, that was very fitting. And I think it was a nice touch at the end of the day in what organisers had hoped was going to be a huge day of celebration and commemoration for the 75th anniversary. In light of the lockdown, that couldn't go ahead, but Britons rose to the occasion. There were street parties just held in gardens. People joined at the end of the Queen's speech in singing "We'll Meet Again," and the Queen led the country as she has done so beautifully in this commemoration.
And as you say, such a poignant message during such a difficult time for so many around the world, and really needing to see that camaraderie and as she said there, as the Queen said, bringing so many people together and celebrating that friendship and that victory. And we saw around her so many monuments, so many items there commemorating the victory, and of course viewers being able to see that. The royal family also commemorating this anniversary, Victoria.
Yes, it's been a fantastic day, actually, where we've seen the country and members of the royal family really pull together. Now, you mentioned those items on her desk. We saw the uniform cap that she wore as a member of the ATS, and of course there was a photograph of her father, King George VI. Behind her was a photograph of the original balcony lineup on VE Day 75 years ago. The Queen is the last surviving member of that party, but other members of the royal family rose to the occasion. They each took it in turns to conduct video conferences with veterans that are living in care homes up and down the country. And that was a really nice touch because, of course, the veterans, yet again, are the ones that are really struggling today. There they were 75 years ago fighting for our freedom, and now we have them locked up because of coronavirus. So I think they felt remembered and we were able to express gratitude.
Yeah, certainly. Prince of Wales participating in an event earlier today. What can you tell us about that?
Yes, Prince Charles really kicked off the day in a very poignant fashion. He and Camilla were at the Balmoral War Memorial, where they led the country in a 2-minute silence. And it was the first time that Camilla has led the country in terms of remembrance. She lay a posy of flowers that she'd collected from her garden at Balmoral, and Prince Charles laid a wreath. So we really saw all the working members of the royal family come out and commemorate, because that's what they do. Today, we should have seen a parade of veterans marching in front of Buckingham Palace. That couldn't go ahead, so the royals got involved in every way they were able.
Certainly, and I mean, as you mentioned there, what we would have had, and crowds, of course, would have been gathering, wanting to either catch a glimpse or that moment which so many cherish, that moment they may have been able to capture with the Queen or any members of the royal family. But before I let you go, Victoria, and, you know, since we have you there, talk to us about how things have changed, how things may have had to be altered, of course, as, you know, the world is living through this pandemic, and of course the royals themselves having to take major precautions to ensure everybody's safety.
They really have, and they're following all the government guidelines that they're supposed to, along with the rest of the country. They have to lead by example, but we've really seen them step up. Sophie Wessex has gone out on a number of volunteering days where she's packed lunches for healthcare workers. We've seen William and Kate video conferencing with all of their charities and really trying to act as morale boosters. We've seen the same from Charles. Camilla launched a book club. She gave her suggested reading for while everyone is locked up at home. So really they've come together to try and really boost the country's morale, show everyone that they're following the same guidelines and restrictions. But I think it's lovely for them to add that sense of continuity, because we turn to the royal family in times of national crisis. And just seeing the Queen there supporting us as she has done for more than 68 years, it brought a tear, I think, to a number of people's eyes tonight.
I think it certainly did. And of course, everyone holding on to those beautiful words. Royal commentator Victoria Arbiter. Victoria, always great having you. Appreciate this. We wish you and your family well.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.